Now let's talk about branding designs. So the design element of your brand, I just talked about naming and how important that is, but almost just as important is the graphical elements of your brand. So logos are very important for your training brands and your online course products. You'll want to have a nice logo made for each of your products or your main training brand that are going to represent the product or brand with all your marketing. You're going to use it across all of your marketing. You're going to use it on, free content, social media, everything. So logos are very, very important. It's also important to use a consistent color scheme and graphic style, like the same fonts or the same design elements. And you want to have consistency across the use of your brand. So with everything you do, for example, look at, the Course Label Workshop, this class you're going through. See the colors of the logo at the top there. It's black, white, and green. And look at these slides. They're green with white lettering, and also throughout the sales information that promoted this course, like the presentation slides and things that talked about it, they were what? White, green, and black. They have other colors and other things, but it has a consistent theme to it. So as you interact with marketing about something, it has that certain emotional feel to it or something that you just remember. And so you want to be consistent. You wouldn't want to have marketing for one of your online courses. Let's say it's about a cooking thing, and you're going to have whites and blues, and then you lead them to an email kind of an email autoresponder series, which we'll talk about, where you teach a mini course, and in that it's red and white, and then you lead them to a sales page that has oranges and blacks. You don't want to do that. You want to be consistent in your color branding. It's very important. That's how someone realizes they're at the same place, dealing with the same company, about the same brand. So keep it consistent. Your social media and content marketing efforts, they also need to include consistent branding. The little thumbnail for your social media accounts needs to be related to the color scheme and logo. If it's not a miniature version of the logo, then it needs to be something related to the logo. For example, I'd create a little thumbnail for the Course Label logo that's just the O in it, that has that little green triangle playhead and the O in the word course. That's what I'd use as a small icon, like on social media and things like that. So it's related to the logo, it's consistent. But for all your social media and your content marketing as well, if you put out video samples and things, which we're going to cover when we get to that in the class. But when you do any kind of marketing, free reports, anything like that, it needs to be branded with your colors, with your logo, and it all needs to work together as a set. Of course, free reports, videos, and HTML emails too. All of it, same thing. Have your logo, have the color scheme, use the same fonts, be consistent, because that's what's going to condition a prospect to remember. And even customers after you sell them, you're going to want to have that consistency as well. You're going to want to keep communicating with them with the same branding, color schemes, and design. So design is just as critical as naming. And when you bring it all together, which most marketers don't, 90% of marketers don't do it, but when you bring all these elements together, and by the way, this of course applies to things outside of online courses you're selling online, but when you bring all of it together and you do it right, you really maximize your conversions and your chance at success because it's consistent and the prospect is trained to realize it's the same company, and they get the repetitiveness after they see it more than once, and they're more likely to buy. So you want to have all of that buttoned up and done properly if you really want to have the ultimate success. And it doesn't take a lot of work to actually do that, but you want to make sure you have your graphic elements very similar in all your branding and everything that you do, along with the naming stuff that we already talked about.